Coming up, Ty from Comeuppance is back on as we look at Detective Night Rogue, a Bruce Willis flick, and then Chavez Cage of Glory, a Hector Echevarria film from the mid-2010s. Next week, I'm going to be continuing the look at the Kickboxer franchise. We'll be looking at movies 3, 4, and 5. So that ought to be interesting, right? We get number 3 is an interesting one, right, where he's in Brazil, not an Albert Pyun film. Number 4, we get Pyun back. And then number 5, we have Mark Dacascos. So that'll be interesting to look at those films. And then in terms of the site, we just did Mercenary, Jesse V. Johnson film. Looking to do High Heat this weekend. That was a film with Olga Kurylenko and Don Johnson that Will from Exploding Helicopter and I did when he was on the podcast a little while back when we were looking at Olga Kurylenko. And then from there, I've got Astro, Gary Daniels' film, listed as the next one. I don't know if I'm going to do that one. I'm going to have to watch it again. And so there's another film called Repeater that's a new Gary Daniels, so I might do that one instead and bump Astro back again. I've been bumping Astro back for a long time. I think I watched it in 2020 when I was doing my Gary Daniels list for the 1000th review celebration that I was doing, where I was kind of celebrating his career for that, and we did Secret of King Mahi's Island for that 1000th post. So I think I watched it back, so it's been 3 years, so I've got to watch it again anyway. Maybe we just do this new Gary Daniels instead. But overall, my job has gotten in the way a little bit, and so I've been having a little less time than I normally do to keep up with stuff. So I know there's some people out there that have reached out to me about screeners. Hopefully I'll get to those as soon as possible and get those reviews up for you. But yeah, in terms of the site, I've been kind of going back into the films that have been in the can for a little bit and reviewing those. So that's why High Heat is coming up next. But we'll see. There's definitely some newer stuff out there that I've been wanting to get to. So hopefully we'll get to that. In terms of other things, the novel, I know I've been telling everybody, I'm hoping to get my fourth novel, Don's House in the Mountains, out in August. Doing this current read-through, I think August is a little soon. I think it needs one more read-through. I've just seen enough typos in it that I don't think it's ready. It's not going to be perfect when I get it out. There's always going to be a typo here or there. There's always going to be a line that maybe doesn't fit quite the way it is, but when I see a lot of typos, it's and I think I've seen 7 or 8 so far, which doesn't sound like a lot. The novel itself is 150,000 words, and I'm close. I think I've got maybe another 50 pages left to read for this read through. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It's enough. Obviously you don't want to have any typos, right? If you can help it, but that's kind of how it works. So in kind of the process that I do with these novels, usually whatever I'm writing, now, I plan to have it out in 3 years. So it's 3 years worth of rewrites. And of course, they're kind of done in cycles. Every couple months, I'll read through it again. So with this novel, I don't know how many times I've read through it, but it is one of those things where it's I'll catch a typo and I'll know that typo has been there for multiple read-throughs, and I don't know how I've missed it all those other times. I think a lot of people pay for editors to do this, for them, but I don't have that kind of money to writing the novels is a hobby right now. At some point, if they start to sell, I could maybe afford to pay an editor, but I'm not quite there yet. So, yeah. And the thing with this novel, Don's House in the Mountains, I started this one. I wrote this one in April of 2020. So it was right when lockdown started, right? If you remember that period, especially here in the United States, especially the Northeast United States, when lockdown really, really got kind of into full force, late March into April. And I gave myself a challenge to see if I could write 4,000 words a day for the entire month of April. The idea being, right, is, 30 days, I'd have 120,000 words, have a novel in the can, then I'd be able to, edit it from there. And I did, do the 4,000 words a day. It was kind of an average. Some days I did 8, some days I did nothing. So, but on average, I averaged the 4,000 words for the month. But I actually didn't finish the novel. I still had another 30,000 that I ended up writing. So it ended up being 150,000. It's my biggest novel yet, and biggest novel for the foreseeable future, because I've written other rough drafts since then that, are going to be out in subsequent years, and none of them are as long as this. So we'll see. But it was a challenge, and it's a challenge that I met. Now when I write rough drafts, I do them in roughly a month, the same way. So I proved to myself that I could do it. It was a bit arduous, but it definitely happened. And it's roughly the novel that I wrote. There are some changes that I made, certain things that I cut out, things that I reworked. So there were some changes that were made, but it's mostly that novel, and it was just a matter of cleaning it up. Just getting the typos and things like that out. And maybe that's part of the problem, right? Is that I banged it out so quickly that there were so many typos that I couldn't possibly catch them all. But some of the typos that I caught, one of them was I spelled peace of mind, not the P-E-A-C-E as in serenity peace, but piece as in a segment of something, piece, P-I-E-C-E. And that's one of those things. I think I'm a little bit more sympathetic when people misuse there, and there, or your and your, things like that. Because I just know for myself as someone who writes a lot that mentally we just put those in the wrong way. Like I don't know how many times I catch that I know the difference between there, and there, but I will still write the wrong there, depending, just because my head just doesn't put it in there correctly. So because of that, but it's one of those mistakes that, like, if you make that mistake, it just looks so dumb on the page. You know what I mean? That you use the wrong piece for peace of mind. It just looks so silly and it doesn't look like a typo, right? Because you wrote the correct word, but it is a typo because I know the correct version of peace of mind. I just, when I was writing it transposed like that, or whatever the word is. And so it looks really bad. I mean, I think there was another time where it was TOO when it was supposed to be TO. That was another one that I caught in there, and so those ones can look worse than say, like, if you maybe change, maybe if I change the subject, right? So I had an I and a we together, right? And I meant for it to, initially it had the sentence written as an I sentence, and then I switched it to a we sentence, but left the I in, right? Those typos, they look off a little bit, but they don't make the writer look like an ignoramus. And so always trying to get those typos out as well. So anyway, just that to say that, I was hoping August that we'd be able to get that fourth novel out. It looks like now it's probably going to be sometime in the fall, like maybe October. Reading through it here, I feel confident that it will only take one more read through, but I also feel like I can't just put it out without doing another read through with all the typos that I found this time around. So so hopefully we will get that out soon though, and we'll kind of go from there. There's also part of the thing that's kind of kept me a little bit behind on things because I've been trying to get that proofreading in and take care of that. The other issue, if I'm really frank, is that it's baseball season. It's towards the end of baseball season, and with Major League Baseball after the trading deadline, which for people that aren't living in the United States, in America, it's similar to the transfer window for international soccer or football, but you have until a certain point in the season where you can trade players to other teams, and then there's a deadline, and then that's it. You can't trade any more players to other teams. The team you have is the team you have. And after the trading deadline, Major League Baseball does this thing because they have this package where you can watch every game that's on every night. So there's usually like 15 games on a night, and if you pay a certain amount of money, you can watch all of those 15 games roughly. There's a few exceptions here or there, but anyway, for the most part, after the trading deadline, they do a deal. This year it was $35. Usually it's $25, but for $35 you can get all the games for the rest of the year, the last two months of the season. So pick that up, and I've been kind of watching some out of market baseball. Of course, watching my Red Sox again because I don't get them here in Philadelphia. Then still watching my Phillies, and now you add in what game do I want to watch tonight? I probably could be watching movies and things like that, but I'm too much of a baseball junkie, so that that happens. I was going to go to a game last night, and it got rained out here in Philadelphia. There was like tornado type winds or whatever going through here, so kind of a mess. So fortunately the game was canceled, and they didn't reschedule it. They rescheduled it as part of a doubleheader that my ticket wasn't good for. So we'll see what I'll do with that refund credit. But anyway, just again getting off track a little bit, but between work and now in baseball, I've fallen behind on some things. Hopefully get caught up on a lot of those things, and get some more movies in the can, start doing some more of the screeners that I've been submitted so I can get those reviewed. I was trying to think about when I would review those screeners, and this is really ambitious on my part, especially for someone who's falling behind on stuff, but I was thinking with those screeners, I might do those on a Thursday because now I'm doing a blog post every Tuesday. I'm sorry, not a blog post. I'm doing a podcast every Tuesday, right? And the main blog post every Saturday. I don't know when. Normally, I would do those screener reviews on a Tuesday. That's usually when I would do those when I wasn't doing the podcast. That was when I do it. But now that I'm doing the podcast every week, I'm trying to figure out when to fit that in. Adding in an extra blog post review with my busy schedule does definitely seem ambitious. But we'll see. I want to get those screeners in for people that have submitted them because I know I always appreciate when people submit those screeners to me. I always really respect the work that people put into those, especially someone myself who's working on trying to finish up a novel. I just write a novel. I don't, direct an entire movie. So, so the people that get those movies to me, I always appreciate that. And I will try to get those reviews up as soon as possible. But that's pretty much everything. So, why don't we, we'll hit the theme song here from John Cross, and then Ty from Comeuppance is going to be on, and we'll talk about some Detective Night Rogue. back, and I am joined by a very special guest, a frequent collaborator to the show. We've got Ty from Comeuppance. Welcome back, Ty.
Hey, I'm back for more exciting movies to talk about. They might be sloggers.
Right, yes.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a little bit of time since you've done this, but I think part of it was with Brett having issues recording. We've almost been kind of like making up for lost time.
Yeah,
on your podcast having guests.
Exactly. Wait, we just did Casavan double feature? Was that what we did? That's right.
Last? I think that was the last time you were on was Casavan. So it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah, a little bit of time.
Yeah. So we were doing like once a month. We were having you were coming on once a month, and we were doing these Willis ones, which we are back on the Willis train.
Yep. Oh no, it was Paradise City. It was Paradise City and the other movie that I can't remember now.
Oh yeah, Paradise City. What was it? This is horrible.
It was one Hulu, one Tubi. I don't remember the. Oh no, it was Nevsky.
Nevsky, that's right. We went back to the Nevsky well, which we'll this will dovetail a little bit with Nevsky as we go back in here.
At Rio Bravo or what it was called.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Where he was the greatest general of all time, and yes, exactly.
Good general.
Right.
He's one of the greatest Russian generals. You might like Putin.
Right, exactly.
Do we know? Right. I'm still convinced he's pro-Putin.
Yeah.
He's pro-Putin.
I mean, I think ultimately, no matter what, he's pro-Nevsky, right? Like, that's the number one thing.
Nevsky's pro-Nevsky.
Yeah.
I like that.
He right. He can only be pro-Putin in so much as it aligns with being pro-Nevsky. And so it seems like those two seem to fit, though, for him now. So, yeah. I'm
trying to remember, what was Travolta's name in Paradise City? It was Buckley, right?
Buckley.
It was Arlene Buckley, right?
That's right.
People named Arlene in both movies. Usually, every movie you watch, these two double features, we usually have some sort of coincidence. So
it'll be interesting to see because when we get into the first our Willis film, the names in those characters are interesting. So we've got some interesting names there, which we'll get into in a bit for sure. But yeah, before we did that, guys, I think there isn't as much meat on the bone for these movies as I think we'll find out when we get into them. But we thought we'd go back to the old segment of what have you been watching lately?
Well, I just rewatched Undefeatable, the Cynthia Rothrock movie.
Oh yes,
that hot Blu-ray. And it has that other version called Bloody Mary Killer. It was good. I watched both. And yeah, you can't help but love Undefeatable. It all enrolled you in college. You start Monday. And it's like, you too, Cynthia Rothrock. I'm like, nuts. It's like, I think are they supposed to be like 18 years old? How old are they supposed to be?
Godfrey Ho, right? He just didn't care, right? I
think he cares. His other version doesn't have all that college stuff. By the way, it's gone. That's I think it's interesting because there's like this, in a classic Godfrey Ho fashion. There's a whole different subplot, whole different movie, really, where Godfrey Ho is in it as Robin Show's like dad, and also Robin Show and Rothrock meet, so it's very weird. Yeah. None of it's that in the American version at all. It's really weird
amazing. So this version, the Bloody Mary version, is on this new Blu-ray that you got.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I would definitely buy this movie because it has both two different versions and Rothrock and Godfrey Ho interviews and Stingray. So
yeah, because the thing with Godfrey Ho that sometimes when you watch his movies is you get a sense of what he thinks plays well in America. And you wonder if I guess 1993, right? That would have been like Saved by the Bell and 90210 and is that what was maybe playing into his thinking? Like, I want to make something that has that, like, people
it's just
fighting.
So weird because every time the other Rothrock's like gang speaks, the guy says, "Well, anyway," it's like it's like wow, he said it like 5 times. Like he must not know his lines or something. Which that's what Rothrock said. Like she had to put like lines on the top of her head or something like that for people to read. It's like that sounds like Godfrey Ho material. It's like. But where's Honor and Glory on Blu-ray? Tape.
Right.
Tape. So, and Manhattan Chase, which he mentioned on this interview.
Oh, Godfrey Ho?
Godfrey Ho mentioned Manhattan Chase and Honor and Glory. But he didn't really talk about his other version on this interview either. I thought that was weird.
Right, maybe that's what it is. He doesn't think that it would play well in America, so he didn't think it was worth talking about, maybe. Yeah, to American audiences.
It's just funny. It's a great movie. It's still a classic. I was cracking up, and it moved like a freaking bullet.
Yes.
So it's like if once it moved, and that's why there's other versions. A little, it's funny. It's shorter, but it's slower.
Yeah.
It's still a decent movie though. This other version.
Yeah, because if we were thinking of a top 10 movies of the 90s, like direct to video action films of the 90s, like I feel like Undefeatable would be in that mix for a top 10.
I would agree with that. Yeah, and we did a Rough Rock. Welcome to the Rough Rock. But we did a top 5, didn't we, on your show or our show?
Yes.
Wow, it must have been a while ago because my memory of that's about gone. I'm assuming Undefeatable was number 1.
Yeah.
Or at least top 2.
I think I did China O'Brien just for the just my own just because my personal connection with it. I kind of feel like it was on your show that we did yeah. I feel like
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know that we're in real time looking up podcast information.
Yeah, look up podcasts while talking about on a podcast.
If either of us did it. So the other thing too is it was a long time ago. It was like 2020, 2021 that we did it.
Time goes by so fast nowadays. Now we're talking about this again. So it's like
yeah, because
I got to re-listen to these things.
I know. Well, because that was it was early, because it was sort of, I don't know if you can hear sirens in the background. I've got
I always hear, you might hear noises, like a motorcycle or some sort of siren. It's always some sort of motorcycle going by because, we're like Sons of Anarchy, but like Sons of Connecticut.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got kind of like the whole, all kinds of craziness going on around us. One of the things I think for that timeline, right? Trying to think of the timeline for us, I came back from hiatus in late 2019, and that was around the time that you guys started your podcast.
We started the pod on Halloween 2019.
Yeah.
It took forever for iTunes to upload it too. I know that sounds kind of nerdy, but it's like it took a long time. We had to call iTunes, I think. It's like calling iTunes.
Right. Yeah, right.
What the heck is this? Because I tried to call Amazon a couple months ago, and they really put me through some hoops.
Yes.
It's like I thought this is Amazon. This should be a little easier.
No, they all of these things through the hoops. Now I did find the Rothrock March of 2020 on my podcast. We did that.
Pod, you guys were on. I feel like.
Yeah. So
it
was very
funny
soon.
Name.
It was just Rothrock. No, just Rothrock top 5. Yeah, I didn't have anything good for that. I was, it was an interesting time, right? Because we were both kind of, we were trading off top 5s.
Yes.
I mean, I think you guys had Mitch on to do a top 5 Van Damme.
We did John Claude Van Ranked, and then the Chuck Wagon with Mitch.
That's right. You had him for the Chuck Wagon. That's right. Right.
I'm trying to get him back on. I don't know if you talked to him recently. I know we're doing this live, but just it's just my schedule is wonky.
I know we talk about this. I mean, between the sirens and stuff going on, but it's like also the fact that it'd be interesting if podcasting, if Spotify or one of those places paid us, not like obviously like Joe Rogan.
Well, that'd be nice. I mean, these residual checks. I always hear about these residual checks now from these striking actors. Very topical. Super topical. The actors are striking. You know that's bad. I don't really care, except that Christian Slater's not working, so it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, but he was talking about it. Dude, like, I'm a striker. I'm striking for 30. In the SAG for 30 years. I was in Hollow Man too. He actually didn't say that part, but it's like that's my best work and Pursued. So it's like it doesn't really sound like that, but
No,
but you should get all of it. Or maybe Dolph Lundgren will be a striking actor. Like, I'm striking for SAG-AFTRA. It's like,
yeah. Because at this point, everything, because when it was just the screenwriters striking, it was like everything that was already written, all the already written stuff they could shoot. Because I think they said this is the first time since 1960 that both the writers and directors are striking at the same time. It is kind of an amazing thing when you think about the studios can make these movie you can make a Fast and Furious movie for $360 million. But
that's really cheap, actually. That's
right, exactly. But you can't pay. It's like you feel like actors probably should get paid a little bit better. I wonder though too, movies. It seems like maybe they don't get paid well. But I thought commercials, if you get into a commercial,
paid out because you see this commercial in Philadelphia where the guy wants to go to a different cable. It's like, yes, I grew up on cable. It's like you ever see these commercials for fiber optic internet. Do you get this in Philadelphia?
I don't think we have
that
because we're owned by Comcast. Philadelphia is owned by Comcast. so you'd only see Comcast commercials here.
Okay. No, we're owned by everything. Well, no, Comcast owns us right now.
Right. Yeah.
We're just on loan from them.
Well, it's like when you go to when you're going into Connecticut from New York and you go to Stamford and you see all of the companies that have buildings in Stamford. In Philadelphia, it's just Comcast that has a building in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's
of course. But then again, you see, all of our favorite people aren't working right now. It's very, what about, Owen Wilson? Wow. And it's it just makes it, or let's see, Stallone.
Right.
And anybody else? I'm trying to think, is Trump? No, he's not really an actor.
Well, he is in the Screen Actors Guild, I believe.
That's right. He's in Home Alone 2 and that weird show called The Nightman. They're not working. I'm actually striking for the actors. Actually, shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be here. No one likes me.
Oh yeah, Trump. If anybody would cross the picket lines, it would be Trump, right?
Crossing the picket line.
Randall Emmett could go up to Trump and just be like, "Hey, here's my scroll. What'll it take? 14 minutes?" And he'd be like,
"I could do it. 14 minutes." Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm going to be watching Salvation very soon.
Well,
so
maybe I'll try to track it down. I'll try to see if I can track it down myself, because I think that one will be, kind of as we were talking about, we kind of got off the undefeatable track, but I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, because we're talking about now. If we're talking about Savage Salvation, then we have to talk about how Malky's on the skids.
Right.
It's like Malkovich. People know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I think that would be the title, right? Malky on the skids.
Malky on the skids, that would be a good one. Yeah, but Undefeatable.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
A really good movie, and there are probably people listening to our podcast going like, "Why don't Matt and Ty do Undefeatable?" And the thing is that this thing kind of just grew again. I did that solo one on Bruce Willis movies, mostly because I was switching from TalkShoe to Anchor, which is now a Spotify podcast, and I didn't want to have a guest on because when you have a guest on, right, the guest is looking to maybe plug things, or they want to be able to show the episode to other people, and it's like if the episode's bad, if everything didn't work out with me moving over, it would have only affected me. That was the idea. But then when you listened to it, you were like, "I'd love to do some Willis films on your podcast." And
yeah, this is a good segue to getting into Detective Night, actually.
Yeah, but that's why But I think one of the things for people out there that are listening, if you would rather us do movies like Undefeatable, even if we mix in an Undefeatable with a Willis film or something like that, if you're interested in that, let us know, because we're doing more newer films more because it's just one that we don't always do a lot on our sites, but also two.
That's a great point.
It's just sort of the project that we've been working on. It's just sort of something we've fallen into. So yeah, if you want, Undefeatable's on Freevee, something like that. So it's like if you're interested in seeing us do some of these classics from the 80s and 90s, we'd be up for it.
That. Or we're supposed to do these Twitter polls. Wait, didn't Elon Musk change the name to Twitter?
It's very X. Yeah, if you look on your phone, right, the app on your phone, it's just the letter X now. How
I don't have the
little
app.
Titles.
I just use it on desktop, but
okay.
And I just save it. It's like, X. It's like the only X I care about is Terminator X.
Yes.
So it's like Terminator X, but it's like, but we should probably go to Detective Night Road.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of X, we've got.
We should X this out quickly.
So as we get into Detective Night Rogue, letting everybody know here first off that we originally were thinking about doing all three of the Detective Night films that are on Tubi, just all for one episode. We were going to just do all three of them one episode, bang them out, and that was an idea that we had. And then I want to say maybe in your case, Ty, because you had some other ideas about movies you wanted to cover. Like maybe we'll mix it up, and it was like, you know what, we've run into problems with these Willis films. Like Maybe we want to hedge our bets here a bit. Yeah. So we just did the one Detective Night Rogue. I don't know how much further eventually we're going to try to get through, more of these Willis films as we go. So, eventually we'll probably see the other ones on here.
Independence. I don't remember the other one. Redemption, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah. Retribution. Yeah. I haven't pulled up my Bruce Willis page on IMDb yet. I've just pulled up Detective Night. So I can see the list because, this is the legacy that Bruce Willis is leaving us, is the Detective Night film.
It's a sad legacy because he's not there. It's a good because I have some notes here. I just want to talk about the.
I'll do as good of a plot synopsis as I can, because this movie's a bit all over the place, to be frank. And for a movie that has a lot not happening in it, it's a bit all over the place.
There's not a lot happening. There's a lot happening. That not very much is happening. So it's like, well, first time I went, but go ahead.
I know. This is one of those movies, and I think the next one we're going to be talking about as well. Chavez.
What's right?
Cage
We're talking
of Fury.
about these. Well, yeah. What are we talking about? Detective Night Rogue.
Yeah.
And Chavez Cage of Glory of Hector Echevarria.
Yeah, I probably should have done a full opening. And what's that's my bad. And it's
okay.
I should have probably said, like, here are the two movies we're talking about. So so we decided to try to hedge our bets with what we thought would be less of a slog. With we wanted to do some Hector Echevarria. I think based on the Nevsky piece, we thought it would be interesting to get into some Hector Echevarria and talk about this period in the mid 2010s where he was making movies. So we looked at this movie called Chavez Cage of Glory. That'll be the second film we talk about. And so we'll be getting into that one in a little bit. But the first one, Detective Night Rogue, or as I like to say, either Detective Night Rogue or Detective Night Rouge. Either of those will work. I
call it Detective Slog.
Detective Slog is probably what it really is. Yeah. It has Willis as Detective Knight, the eponymous hero, who
James Edward Knight.
James Edward Knight. Yeah. So the kind of name that you would probably expect to see if you're in the grocery store for like a mystery novel, but he's
a great point. It's like a James Patterson novel or something.
Exactly, like that. Right. Yeah. But he's a detective in L.A. who plays by his own rules, hence the rogue factor. He's, I guess Detective Knight, Cop on the Edge would have been too long of a tagline, so they just went with Detective Night Rogue.
I'm surprised they didn't do that, but gotta keep these titles short.
Exactly. So he there's this gang of bank robbers who seem to be really good, right? They hit their targets, they hop on a private jet, and they're gone like ghosts. And he's starting to try to figure out who is doing this. And there's an idea that it's a group of ex-athletes that are performing these heists, and they've been tracked to New York City. So Willis, along with his partner, who is played by a guy named Jimmy Jean-Louis, the character's name is Godwin Sango. They go out to LA, to New York to try to track them down. At the same time, we find out that this gang of thieves who are in fact athletes. One of them is played by Wayne Gretzky's son Trevor, so we get him back after.
He's back right. From American Siege.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and they're being hired out by Michael Eklund, who tends to be a baddie in these. We haven't seen him yet. Actually, it's interesting. Michael Eklund tends to be a baddie in these kinds of direct-to-video movies of the late 2010s, 2020s.
Yeah, I've seen him hanging around, but I don't remember his titles right now.
Yeah, exactly. The one that I remember is he was in Welcome to Sudden Death, the Michael J. White film.
I never watched that. How was that?
I think the only reason why I would say it would be worth it for you to watch it is because you have a blog site and you can make lemonade out of the lemon that was that movie.
Right.
Michael J. White is good in it, but it's just kind of all over the place. I actually discussed it on DTV Digest with that crew. Yeah, they were much nicer to it than I was. They was like, out of 10, how did you score this? And I was like, I give it a 4. And then I didn't realize that they don't really give anything a 4 because they're kind of more like, these are independent films. We'll give them a little bit better. Yeah, out of 10, right? Yeah.
Okay. So, that reminds me, I was always listening to your podcast with Exploding Helicopter Will.
Oh, yes.
About Fair Brass.
Yes.
And it's like, Fair. I'm about halfway through now. And it's like, Fair Brass. What's on Tubi? Because I was just finishing up Cage of Glory. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let me take a look. So I found one. It was called Freight.
And
it's like Taken, but not good. So it's like Fair Brass and his gang of buddies. It's like one of the daughters is kidnapped, and he goes into the adult trade, we'll say.
Right.
And then the bad guy is so freaking evil. It's like, oh no, he better get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give any spoilers, but to say it doesn't really work out the way you want it, we'll say.
Okay.
And it's like, nuts. And then you said something, or you and Will said something on your pod, about these downbeat endings.
Yes.
Like when you talk about villain.
Yeah.
And it's like, I see.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, right, between American movies and like European movies or English movies is that they're more into wanting to do the tragedy, right, where the Shakespearean tragedy or the Greek tragedy, whereas in American movies it's like and part of it too,
blow up everybody out.
Yeah, and with these Taken movies in particular, right? They always want to have this sort of happy ending. There's a podcast I listen to called Behind the Bastards where they did an actual thing about why there's this whole like trafficking, kidnapping, scare stuff going on, and they said it's mostly like the same crap as like chain letters in the 90s. I don't remember chain letters.
Yeah, I remember Chain Letter. There's a movie. There's a horror movie called Chain Letter. It's Keith David. I always wanted to watch it.
Oh yes, I haven't seen that either.
I'm dying to watch it. I'm trying to get it like a cheap copy. I'm being really chintzy about it because like I don't want to pay like $20. I'll pay $5. And I guess there's an unrated version I got to find.
Oh,
it's directed by Deon Taylor, and he's made a lot of weird movies in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
If you look him up, like he made a movie called Trafficked, and I think it has Paula Patton.
Oh, interesting.
It's just okay. I think Frank Grillo might be hanging around. It's not very good.
Hanging around.
It's kind of run of the mill. Yeah. But I hear Chain Letter is kind of ridiculous. That's really funny you mentioned that. Oh wait, so yeah.
Well, so
we're talking about Detective Night Rogue.
Yeah. So anyway, in New York, they find out that that there's this like bookie / crime boss guy played by Michael Eklund. His character name is Winna, which makes me of course think winna chicken dinner. But this like great name and Johnny Mesner. Now I can't even talk now with the A endings because now I'm like saying Mesna instead of Mesner.
Johnny Mesna.
Right, exactly.
It's Johnny Mesner's in there.
Right, exactly. So Johnny Mesner
over here.
Exactly. So maybe that's what it is. They thought because it took place in New York that all the characters would have A's for the instead of ERs. But
not really a name.
Yeah. Well, because also so Johnny Mesner's character is named Brigga. Which
I was just about to mention that. That's in my notes. So there's a Winna and a Brigga.
Right. The Brigga one doesn't that because the A and the S are right next to each other on the keyboard. I wonder if it was supposed to be Briggs, but they typed the A instead with a typo and just decided to go with it. That's the kind of movie this is.
This movie is a typo.
The whole thing is typo-ish. So anyway, the whole thing is that this main character Casey is like a former quarterback who he's doing these heists because he's got an opiate addiction and he's got a daughter and a child that a wife and child he's got to support. So he's on the heist. So the big heist is they're going to steal a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, which of course is apt because Trevor Gretzky is in this as part of his gang.
Maybe he can get it, no problem.
Exactly.
No wonder it's an easy heist.
Right, it seems like it's an easy heist, right? And then of course, as is wont to do, these heists never go right, and it's just a whole bunch.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, right. The heist
goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice if the heist just went right, but one of the things we get at the very end is we get Bruce Willis in a big wolf mask, and he has a big showdown with Michael Eklund's Winna character, and that's roughly it, I guess. I guess
that's about it. I'll just run down my notes then. When Casey's he's watching TV with his kid, he's watching 40 for 40, Disgrace and Glory. Now it's never like 30 for 30 at all. Right. It's like 40 for 40. I thought that was kind of funny.
Right.
And then, of course, Johnny Mesner looks a lot like Kevin Bacon in this movie, and also fake Gary Cole. Or I call him Fake and Bacon,
No, that's absolutely it. Because, remember when we saw him in American Siege, right? He was
unrecognizable.
He was John Hamm in that one.
Yeah, he was John Hamm, and then Hamm and Bacon to go to that.
Now I was trying to figure out what it was, but you're right. It's like Kevin Bacon with a tinge of Gary Cole.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Gary Cole. It would be great if actually you got Gary Cole to be in one of these movies. You switch out Bruce Willis because he's not doing so well. Get Gary Cole. It might be a better movie.
Gary Cole would have been a great villain in this too.
Great villain. Or you ever see him as a hero? He's a great villain in A Simple Plan. If you've seen that or not.
Oh yes,
I'd like seeing. We saw Pineapple Express because he's the villain in that too.
Yes.
He was good in that. I just wish he was in a little bit more. I don't want to get bogged down in my complaint in Pineapple Express. But we'll just say the cliche of them getting mad and being happy again 2 seconds later, isn't it? And it's just like, you don't need to do that. Well, for this perfect example, why you don't need it. Don't get me started on I Love You Man either. That's even worse. But I think I might have complained about that before.
Right, exactly.
But I will say, go ahead, please.
I was going to say the Gary Cole, I don't want to be remiss in missing that Gary Cole as a villain. My wife turned me on to the TV movie he did in the 80s. Was it Fatal Vision?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes. Was that what it's called? Am I right that that's the title?
Yeah. Fatal Vision.
Yeah. And he's he's really fantastic as like the guy who murders his family in that one. And
it's like evil face, kind of like Bruce Greenwood.
Yes.
It's just like you just have evil face, and of course Billy Drago has evil face,
exactly.
And Kerry Tagawa has evil face.
Yes, exactly. No, Fatal Vision is actually one that I covered for this podcast way back when I was doing a podcast with Jamie. She wasn't able to make it one night, so I just did Fatal Vision, and I think I did Tekken, the Tekken movie. Yeah, it was like a two-parter.
Completely different on that one.
Yeah.
Gary Cole and Tekken, though, I'd like to see that versus Gary Daniels.
Right. Oh, that would have been interesting. Yeah. I mean, Gary Cole, it's funny we talk about Gary Cole like this. He could be in just about anything, right? I mean, obviously he would have made this Detective Night movie a lot better.
Oh my goodness, would he?
Yeah. I mean, because the one thing I was thinking, I don't know if you had this thought, right, is that we're watching the Detective Night. And so here's what happens in the movie. This is really kind of the bad part of the movie, is that we lose Bruce Willis for large chunks of the film.
Oh, huge chunk. Like, I don't remember when he came back. Like, right, Bruce Willis, yeah.
Because even when we think he's coming back, it's more his partner, Sango, who's doing the work instead of him. And so we've got
Corey
this
Large, right?
Corey Large, yes. Oh, Corey Large was Mercer.
Because he looked a lot like a fake Michael Pena in this one, and Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, or the Young Turks?
Cenk Uygur, yes.
Yeah, Cenk Uygur. It's like,
Cenk Uygur was definitely it. Yes, it was. I was trying to think of who he looked like. You're right. Especially with like the big barreled chest that he has.
Yeah, he looked just like Cenk. It's like, I think that's Cenk Uygur. Oh, it's Corey Large.
Yes, exactly.
He's in a movie called Corey is in a movie called Toxic. You ever seen this one? It has Tom Sizemore and Master P, and someone else in it too.
Did he write that one? Because he wrote this.
He might have, yeah. Yeah. He loves. Wait, what's that in the movie? Chasing Ghosts. I think he wrote that movie. Michael Madsen. And I don't have a Meatloaf impression, but you got Meatloaf, Mike Madsen.
For people listening to us to characterize him as Cenk Uygur, if you go to his IMDb page, he doesn't look like that at all. He looks like this kind of clean cut. Yeah. I don't know if he's put on weight or what happened, but because oh my God, when you look under the photos, the very first photo of him is like him with like the hoodie from this movie where he's so Cenk. It's like he's kind of just bursting out of this.
He's bursting with Cenk.
It's like, it's so much Cenk. He's interesting. He produced Paradise City. He produced White Elephant and Best Man, and he's produced a bunch of stuff recently that Vendetta, the movie that I did as a solo, and Corrective Measures. Tyson. American Siege, he produced that, so he's been producing a lot of these movies.
All these great movies you've been watching lately.
Corey Large is just he's in everything, but
he's living large.
He wrote Paradise City. I didn't realize that.
That's amazing. Great job.
But I see Toxic. that you were talking about here. Oh, and Chasing Ghosts.
Chasing Ghosts. Yeah. So I think he wrote that, and he's in it.
You're gonna rate my dialogue a little better there, Corey Large.
Is that what dedicated you see?
That was my what's his face? My Michael Madsen in Chasing Ghosts.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
I can't read this dialogue. What do you
know? I'm Shan Sossaman's like Fred. You know what? Back in the day when that came out, trust me, Brett will attest to this. I was obsessed with Chasing Ghosts because all my favorite people. And the trailer looked really cool, and it's like, whoa, chasing, and Michael Rooker. All these love people. So, where's Tom Sizemore?
Yeah.
But we need to go back to the movie, right? So my notes say,
so as we dovetail with Chasing Ghosts, this movie does have Lachlan Monroe in it. Because I guess I forgot a plot point that Lachlan Monroe gets shot up in the initial heist that the guys carry out successfully.
Fantastic CGI wounds that look like red paint splotches.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this movie is interesting in that sense that it has a lot of shootouts that do kind of don't go anywhere, but then eventually go somewhere. Or it's like there's a lot of this kind of. I mean, so I don't. Yeah, this is. I should probably warn people. We're going to be tangenting it probably a lot just because.
I gave him a warning before, so get ready for Detective Tangent. And Chavez Cage of Tangents.
Yes, exactly.
Tangent of Glory, I guess.
Tangent of Glory, yes. Yeah. But one thought I had with the Casey character, and I don't know if you had the same thought, is that this is where a guy like a Johnny Drama can elevate something like this, because he's a name, he's someone we recognize, and he brings a little bit more to a part than than this character, than the Casey. I'm not saying Casey Rhodes is bad. He's just not Johnny Drama good.
I know. Maybe he can aspire to be Johnny Drama, like we all want to be.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's our goal. I mean, it's just be Johnny Drama.
Exactly.
Wait, what was his name in what's that stupid movie he watched? A Day to Die. It was like Ken Kenderson or
yes, it was. It was like
Connor Connerson or Connor.
Yeah, Connor or something like, or Connor Connolly or something.
Yeah. Like Connor Connolly. I laugh at that every single day. I think like,
right.
What do you think, Connor Connolly?
Well, because if you think about it, right, that movie, A Day to Die, was as much all over the place as this one was, or the Hot Seat one. Right, or was it not Hot Seat? I mean, Hot Seat, yes, but
you're talking about Wire Room.
Wire Room, yes. Wire Room was as much all over the place as this one, and it did the same thing with Willis, right? Where he's there, he disappears, he comes back, he disappears. But Johnny Drama just gives us just a little bit more in these parts.
I can't agree more. That's why every movie that doesn't have Johnny Drama, you're missing something. You're missing the drama.
Yeah.
I guess we're once again on the line, still not available for the stream. I mean, maybe I could just buy it or something like that.
Yeah, we got to get there soon because I think we are missing. Well, I say we're missing Johnny Drama. I mean, yeah, it's funny because Paradise City.
I miss that little guy.
Yeah, we miss that. No, he's great. I know, because one of the things the idea with this movie is that there are these athletes who, for whatever reason, don't make it in the pros, but yet they're still like, because they're athletes, they're like they have more of a team mentality.
It's a good idea, almost.
Right.
That's the thing, almost.
Because with Johnny Drama in it, one take they could have done it that would have been a little bit better. The idea is that this Casey character blows out his knee before he gets his big contract in the NFL, and then he blew his money on whatever, right? So he's got no money and he's got to find a way to make money again. With Johnny Drama, what would have been interesting is because of his age, he could have been like a backup quarterback who played before the money was bigger.
Like a fourth stringer.
Right, exactly. And so then, because one of the things you're seeing with this Casey character is he's jumping all over the place, which it's like, if you have a bad knee, what are you doing jumping all over the place?
Like your bum knee. And
right,
also,
when you say
bum knee, then you think about Sin City. It's like,
yeah,
when Michael Madsen calls, you got a bum ticker. It's like, exactly. Pushing 60, you got a bum ticker, Bruce.
Right, exactly. So,
that's also classic. Let me look at my notes here. I have.
What else have you got for us?
I have. Okay. Well, I actually felt bad for Jack Kilmer. He's in this movie. He's like, and then I also have that people play chess in it. So chess and knight references. Wait a second.
Right, because he's the knight.
We have a detective knight.
Right. Yeah,
very powerful stuff. And
and what's the idea that he can come out of nowhere, which in a way makes sense, right? Because that explains the fact that he disappears for so long.
It's a great point. And also, do you remember this part? It's in the beginning, right during the heist scene. There's like a guy that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did you notice this? It's like, what? It's like, you almost like, I think it's like Get to the Chopper.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck was that?
Which would make sense with all these characters that have A's for last name at the end of their names. You don't have to have just Choppa.
Yeah, that's right, Choppa. That'd be someone's name in the movie.
Yeah,
that's great. I also, when Bruce Willis is talking to his partner, like, I'm going to New York. So I don't want to make fun of Bruce Willis, but he doesn't know how to like have a conversation anymore in these movies.
Right.
So you ever notice that? I'm not making fun of him. Just like he said something, but it doesn't really fit the conversation he's having with the other guy that he's talking. Yeah. It's like, here's your line, Bruce. It's like, okay, you'll say this. And then like he says it, but he says it weirdly.
Right.
And it's like, oh no. But yeah, I have his head double is really good in this movie. If you notice that, fantastic head double. And I saw that in the. I also have it. Yeah, and when they're doing these heists, they watch heists on YouTube.
Yes.
It's like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's like you can look that up. I thought that was like a crime. It's like,
right. Because I think it's supposed to be like they were supposed to be like watching footage or something from something else, but it was YouTube though. You're like it was instead. I don't know if their mindset is that if you watch videos on your computer that they look like YouTube. I don't know.
I guess people love their YouTube. Well, we all. But
of course,
yeah. And let me throw out some of my notes here. Okay, so I have. I was looking up the other Detective Knight movies.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who's back? Guess who's back in the second one or the third one?
Who do we got?
Timothy V. Murphy.
Oh, yes, yes.
He's back.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. And I was typing in Timothy Murphy, and then it said I can't think I'm gonna laugh. That it's autocorrect always goofs you up on the phone.
Right.
So it said Tim Mushy. Like Tim Mushy? That's hilarious to me. So Tim Mushy's back in Detective Night. it's like I love Tim Mushy now. It's like, and
awesome.
I think that's all my notes. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's an actual note. Well, first off, it's an hour and 45 minutes, this movie. Brutal. Yes. Terrible. What was that like Trump? Damn, it's too long. Detective Trump, rogue. I am a rogue. Okay? Detective Trump. That might be something. But, okay, here's my actual real note. Yeah, if Bruce made this in like late 90s, 2000s, he could do another John McClane. He could be James Knight. It actually be like maybe like 2 good movies out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you make it now, it's a bit of a problem. So it's like that was all my notes. Also, the auction Halloween chase I wrote down, and of course the pacing is terrible.
Yeah. Some of the concepts in this movie just make no sense. Like the idea that on Halloween anybody can wear a mask and it's okay. So I can just go to a police station with a wolf mask on and nobody's going to think anything of it. No, nobody's going to police stations with wolf masks on and there's like, oh, go ahead, you're good. Hey, it's Halloween. Anybody can,
well, that's what they think. Like, oh, just another crazy Halloween guy.
Right. It's like, no, we don't want you coming in here with a mask on. We need to know who you are. We need to, it's like.
Well, that's what's funny about. A couple of years ago when we might have been home a lot, you have to wear a mask. So you go to the bank. It's like, wait a second. If you wore a mask to the bank, you'd go to jail.
Right.
But it's like, oh, okay, hello.
Yeah, because I think what you're supposed to do is like, I think you have to. I don't know what they did because I never, of course, don't go to the bank anymore. Fortunately, because fortunately, been able to just but
you do online banking.
Yeah, but I think because I know they were talking about this in New York with shoplifters that like. The idea is supposed to be you pull the mask down as you walk through so you can be caught on camera. Your face is caught on camera. Then you put the mask back on.
Oh, okay.
That might be. I don't know if that's what banks did, but I know now a lot of places are turning the other direction, being like you can't wear a mask in the store. Like or you wear a mask
idea.
or what?
It looks scary. But those are all my notes. I think let's hope that this. Also, it kind of does it on a cliffhanger a little bit.
Right, because we're supposed to have 3 of these movies. Right.
Which they almost watched. They almost watched the second one. Like, no, wait, we got to watch it eventually. But they ended an interesting cliffhanger, we'll say.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I will say about the next movie is it's 8 minutes shorter. So we're closing in on that hour and a half mark, which is what we want. I mean, again, I don't know what Detective Knight's story you can't tell in 90 minutes, but I mean, I'm sure they could have had fewer of these padding scenes that they've been. Padding. I mean, that's the thing. This movie. That's another piece of these. Maybe we should do this as a segment of these. What kind of padding does the movie have?
Yeah, go ahead. You have
I was gonna say we have trunk confession padding, right? When Bruce Willis is going to confront Winna and Brigga, he takes Rhodes with him and he throws him in the trunk. And on the ride there, Casey is in the trunk confessing about everything and like just sort of emptying his soul about how he feels about everything. And it's like, just get to Winna's house and have the big showdown. But no, we've got to have trunk padding. Trunk confession padding, I guess is what you could call it.
Let's bring back taxi cab confessions. That'll probably be Uber confessions or Lyft confessions. But I mean, like, they can still do that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Uber or Lyft would love to do that because it would like be great. Because that's the one difference between taxi cabs, right, and Uber and Lyft is that Uber and Lyft are a company that would like the advertising. So like, if you could be in New York City and be like, oh, my Uber could be, you know what I mean? Like like
it's kind of like what was that show with Ben Bailey? Why am I remembering?
Was it the game show?
Yeah, what was that called again? I forgot.
Oh, what was that called? Taxi cab something like.
Well, we all know taxi cab confessions, but
yeah,
Ben Bailey and
Cash Cab. Was it
Cash Cab? Thank you. That was a great show.
Yeah,
really enjoyed Cash Cab.
Yeah,
I get to be Cash, Lyft now or whatever. It's like, you hear about these taxi cab medallions?
Cohen.
Go ahead.
With Michael Cohen, that was like a big thing. The medallions.
Oh, is that that's a Trump thing?
Michael Cohen bought up all those medallions, right? So that, and then was like leasing them out to cab drivers and was making a ton of money off of them. And then suddenly with Uber and Lyft, the value of them collapsed.
Oh
and
my
he had
goodness,
like no money.
They fell through the freaking basement.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like, so I guess Trump saw that. Like, I don't know if I like that. I usually like my medallions.
Right.
Okay, believe me, I'm still Detective Trump Rogue and independent. Okay, I don't remember the other title. Maybe Retaliation against Biden. Okay, believe me, I might get indicted again. It's like, I think I'm indicted again 4 times. Like, it's a lot of indictments, but it's like, all right. It's like, I mean, if I was Trump, I mean, I'd be so like, I'm indicted again. It's like,
right. I know.
Goodness.
Oh, what was it? Was it Jimmy Fallon did this thing where, because him saying the word indicted, they said it to the "I'm so excited" song. He's like, I'm so indicted, and I just can't hide it. Yeah, I'm so indicted.
He's so well. See, that's the thing. Now you haven't seen Jimmy Fallon's lately because of this exciting writers strike.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
We're not in the Writers Guild, so we can say whatever you want about them. Haha. So it's like.
Well, that's because the other thing too is that we weren't watching Jimmy Fallon because we have years worth of Bruce Willis to catch up on.
Oh my goodness!
And all of it's still available for us to catch up on. It's like, hey, who's got time for Jimmy Fallon?
Well, we'll watch these other 2 soon, and of course, maybe when Assassin hits the streams.
Yeah,
so, I hear it's actually somewhat watchable, Assassin. Yeah. So it's like that's his last movie, Assassin.
That was the thing that I was thinking about. And I don't know if you've had these thoughts watching these movies. It's like, this is a legacy that Bruce, and I guess, yes, Die Hard is really his legacy. Pulp Fiction,
Well, I was going to say Striking Distance or Color of Night are his best movies.
Exactly right. Those are his.
Or maybe Breakfast of Champions. No, never.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the other thing, too, about these movies is, they were talking about those residual checks that the actors get.
Yeah,
like Bruce Willis just gets paid a straight $60,000 or whatever it is to shoot his few scenes and get out of there. So that's one thing in his case is that he's got the money. He doesn't have to worry about not getting paid later for it. I'm assuming Randall Emmett paid him, but I don't know.
I hope so. I still need to watch the Randall scandal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I started and fell asleep.
Oh, you fell asleep.
I got through the opening and. Yeah, it's hard. That's the thing with movies nowadays. I mean, I will say Detective Night Rogue. I think it took me 3 or 4 sittings to make it through because I fell asleep on multiple times.
I watched in the afternoon. I had some free times. Like this is. Yeah. I almost fell asleep. I mean,
right.
It's unfortunate. See, that's the thing. If they had like a better movie, better script, maybe maybe a couple extra names, like a Gary Cole versus Bruce Willis when he was feeling a little better, we'll say.
Right.
And it's like, I think he would have had something here. I think he would have had like a moderate success in the theater in like 1999, 2000s. And like, Detective Night. That was a good movie. And it would say on the tape, recommend this hit to friends. It's like, you always see that like on these like these Disney tapes or whatever, or Touchstone tapes. Yeah. Like, if you love My Father's a Hero, you'll love this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think this movie, shave off 20 minutes, right? Get it,
absolutely.
Make it like 85, right? An 85-minute movie. Replace the Casey character with Johnny Drama, and I mean, yes, the dream casting would be Gary Cole as Winna the baddie. You wouldn't call him Winna because that's just absurd.
Yeah,
why are you calling a baddie
Winnick?
Right, Winnick. Yes, that's perfect. Winnick is a great baddie name. And Briggs, right? Just call him Briggs. He doesn't need to be Briggs.
Yeah, Briggs and Winnick are like perfect. Yeah. There you go. Wait, Briggs, was that his name in I think it's Biggs. I can't even know this. And Set Up, Bruce Willis.
Oh,
his name is he's like the gangster. His name is Biggs. And
I think you're right.
He doesn't beat up Ryan Phillippe. Yeah. He doesn't beat up 50 Cent.
No.
I don't remember. He beats up some nerd. I don't know.
Yeah.
He tortured some nerd. And it's like that was the beginning of the end for old Bruce.
Well, the thing then, right? If you look at that time, he was doing it was Biggs. It was Biggs, 2011. Yep.
Yeah.
He was doing like maybe one of these a year at that time, and he was still doing big budget things. Like he was in Red. Red was in Expendables,
that was a theatrical
obviously
released movie. I thought it was actually a pretty good movie for the most part.
Cop Out
a little bit.
Cop
Out's okay.
Surrogates.
Well, people don't.
So
like
he was still making movies. He does Moonrise Kingdom in 2012. So he's like Looper. Sprinkling these in, right? He's sprinkling in.
That's how you do it. That's how, if I was Bruce Willis, you sprinkle one or two, people don't really notice.
Yeah.
And then like, oh no, there's like 15 of these. There's 20 of them. There's 25. It's like, now it's just, because I almost bought Fortress the other day. I didn't want, I know it sounds like I'm being a cheapskate today, but I want to pay $8. I know it sounds like kind of, not much of an amount.
Yeah, it's hard to, so I think what you have to, I think when you're talking about buying things or not buying things, I think you have to look at a sliding scale. Like, you can spend $8 at Taco Bell and not feel, it's like, okay, I got something out of that. But with a movie, you're like, because I can stream it. Do I want that in my collection or not in my collection? You've got space. You've got other movies.
Well, you saw my shelf. I showed you that video, right? So
right. Yes.
Like, well, that's for VHS. That'd be cool. Yeah. But that's something about Fortress though, because it has all your favorites. It's got your Jesse Metcalf. It's got your Bruce Willis, your Shannon Doherty, and your Chad Michael Murray. How can you tell between Jesse Metcalf and Chad Michael Murray? Won't be able to tell. It's like
well, because the thing with Fortress, right? Because the fact that you have them in it together, that's actually kind of a big deal that you would put those two in a movie together.
That's why I almost bought it. It's like, well, it'll be there. It was like a place called Game Exchange. I don't know if we have that in Philadelphia. But...
Oh, no, we don't. No.
So there's a bunch of DVDs that are kind of cheap, but sometimes not,
Yeah.
So it's like I said, I almost bought it. But,
and it looks like it has been removed from Tubi. So there's that part of it.
It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I almost bought Backtrace also. That movie was still on.
Oh, yes.
So it's Ryan Guzman from, I think, The Boy Next Door, J-Lo. Yeah. And it says Stallone. It's like, Sucker Bill, what's going on here? Then you got Matthew Modine. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, I've seen the movie. It's like Matthew Modine. You ever see this, Backtrace?
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
I'm happy. Okay, maybe we can watch that for this pod. I'm not sure where it is streaming. I didn't look. But I actually just bought Backtrace on Amazon for some reason. But it's like...
it might be an interesting... I mean, Matthew Modine is just like... When I was watching those Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan's, I was like kind of late to the party on those. And I was like, wait, Matthew Modine's in these? Like, I didn't even know Matthew Modine still did stuff. I was like...
well, that's the best part about these Dark Knight movies. Not Detective Knight, Dark Knight. It's just that... you got Matthew Modine, you got your Eric Roberts, you got your Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah. It's like, well, that's why this Oppenheimer movie, pretty good cast. I mean, like, where's my Jeff Fahey? Where's my C. Thomas Halls? You got to sneak him in there, Nolan. Look at what Robert Rodriguez does.
Exactly.
Sneak him in. Or Michael Biehn. So it's like, but it was great to see Eric Roberts in The Dark Knight. He stole the whole movie. Well, because I have an unbelievable bias, but it's just like, it's like if we had Eric Roberts, like Christian Slater, and like Dolph Lundgren all in one movie or something. It's like, we got close. We got really close with the Expendables, Or also, what's that movie with Scott Adkins and Christian Slater? El Gringo? Not very good. El Gringo.
I did that on a podcast episode, but I've never actually reviewed it on the site.
No, it's not good. Because, it's always quick cuts, and it's like, you got your Slater. He's like in Mexico. He wears a hat. It's like very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a hat. I'm going after Scott Adkins. They don't fight. Wouldn't it be amazing? You don't see Chris Slater do martial arts, except for Alone in the Dark with Tara Reid. But it's like, remember, that was hilarious. And he had that funny jacket, and Tara Reid says Newfoundland wrong. She says Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, you should probably go to our next movie after this break. No, you get to the break.
Well, yeah. Before that, any other thoughts on Detective Night?
Let's hope that the next two are a little bit better. That's why it's kind of a slog. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was slog right from the jump. Really, I just like I didn't want it to be a slog.
We go into these knowing we're not going to get a lot of Willis, but when the decisions that they make on how to mitigate him not being in the film a lot. I mean, again, the stories just weren't all that compelling about the football player. They didn't make it compelling really about the football player who's down on his luck. There was just a lot of stuff going on. And I mean, the one thing you do get is that the Bruce Willis double at the end wearing the big wolf mask is just pretty funny. And
it was funny. And he's like, I wonder if he's in that mask.
Yeah.
My guess is no.
Right, exactly. Yeah, which was that was
try.
Fantastic. And we do get Wayne Gretzky's son back again.
Nice to see him back.
So that's always fun. He does a much better job in American Siege, which so far I don't know about you, but I think so far American Siege is still our best Willis film that we've seen out of all the Willis films.
Yes, I will agree with that because Day to Die was just really stupid. Well, of course they had our buddy Johnny Drama.
Johnny Drama, right? Exactly. But yeah, some people have to rank these. Maybe we could create a letterbox list and rank them like where we think they should go. But this is definitely going to be. This was one of the tougher sits. So
yeah, this might be the worst one today. I think. Oh no! Wait a second. I wrote in my notes that it's better than Survive the Night. So actually, this is not the worst one.
Or Survive the Game, right? Was it Survive the Game that we did?
Which one? Which one?
Yeah, I think was it Survive the Game?
Survive the Night had our Chad Michael.
Yeah, I think Survive the Game does too. I think it was Survive the Game that we did, with Farkas from Scott Farkas and Ava.
Are you talking about? Yeah, I know. What's his name? Why am I forgetting?
No, it was. Yeah, it was Survive the Game, and we don't even know what the game was, but they survived.
There
was
no game. It's just a movie title.
You're right. That one was worse than this one.
Yes, that is maybe the bottom of the barrel. It's not. If it's wrong place. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Amy King or Out of Death. I get this mixed up.
Out of Death. Yeah. Wrong.
I thought Out of Death wasn't that terrible.
Right. Wrong Place was. Oh, thinking of the best ones. That's right. So we have American Siege. White Elephant was also a solid.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So, Malky on the Skids. So it's like.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So
we gotta bring. Because I saw Malky. If you want to do Malky on the Skids, I see that on Tubi they had Mind Cage. So it's Martin Lawrence and John Malkovich. He plays like a Hannibal Lecter-esque character.
Yeah.
Now, I want to see Martin Lawrence and John Malkovich talk together in a scene.
Yeah.
You don't get them, you're a little disappointed.
The fact that we're getting some Martin Lawrence again in and of itself, I think, is fantastic. So
we should watch that for this pod.
Yeah, we'll try to track that one down. I think
it's on
that
Tubi.
It's on Tubi? Okay.
It just hit the Tubi.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what we got to do then. Yeah,
funny.
Mind Cage? Oh, it's all one word too. Mind Cage.
It's one word.
He plays the artist. Okay. Oh, look at the hair. I mean,
yeah. That clearly might be a wig.
Yeah, that looks great. And Martin Lawrence just looks fantastic as well.
Yeah. I think this could be a hit. I mean, like.
Yeah. Okay. So so as we go into our break here, we think we've got one for next time.
We can do Malky and the Skids the next time. I know we're talking about American violence and hunting games, maybe, but maybe Malky on the Skids because it has a title. We have a title for the episode.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds perfect. Excellent. Well, yeah. So I mean, just so with Detective Night Rogue, it was definitely a process to get through it. When a movie feels like it takes effort to get through it, you've done when you feel like you've accomplished something by getting through the movie, and it's only an hour and 45 minutes. I mean, it felt like a good 3 hour.
It felt 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So. We'll see if Chavez Cage of Glory does any little bit better than that. But what we'll do right now is we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll chat about that one. Back in a few.
Can't wait.
Hey everyone, we'll get back to the podcast in a second, but first I have a new novel out, Holtman Arms. It follows Colvin Hall, an aspiring writer who decides to write a romance novel on a whim, sends it to a publisher, and it becomes a huge success. The only problem is, no one knows it's him because he writes under the pen name Mary Ballantyne. With all of the money and none of the fame, Colvin longs for the world to recognize his accomplishments. When he gets an opportunity to write a freelance article on a washed-up 90s pop star looking for a comeback, that recognition starts to come, but is it all he hoped for? It doesn't matter because he's getting it whether he likes it or not. Holtman Arms is the second in my author's cycle after A Girl and a Gun, and like that previous novel, it explores themes of success and accomplishment in the 21st century. You can buy it now through Amazon in paperback or on Kindle. The link is in the podcast description. As always, thanks for your support.
All right, we are back, and
we're back.
Yeah, exactly. Our second film, we were looking at the Hector Echevarria film from 2013, Chavez Cage of Glory, and there's no punctuation in Chavez Cage of Glory either. It's not like
funny. No, it's like Chavez Cage of Glory.
Exactly. It's like is it like a
subtitle there, buddy?
Yeah. There's no so. And granted, Hector Echevarria is he speaks English as a second language, so it's possible he just didn't, No, I mean, no. One of the things I don't know. Did you watch the whole credits for this movie?
You're like the end credits?
Yeah.
No, because it's like I couldn't take it anymore.
Well, one of the credits is Patrick Kilpatrick had the credit of I can't remember if it was script polish or script polisher.
Oh, I didn't see that. No. Just like once it ended. Usually I like to watch the credits, but like this was a kind of a snore.
Yeah. No, it was just I think it was just script polish. That was Patrick Kilpatrick had the credit.
He was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I will say that. That's kind of going through my notes too fast, but
yeah.
Should I do a quick plot description?
Yeah, should I do a quick synopsis? So essentially, Chavez Cage of Glory is essentially it's a Rocky ripoff. It has Echevarria as this down on his luck MMA or like
Hector the Mexican Chavez. He plays Hector.
The Mexican Chavez. Hector. Yeah, he's got a wife. Okay. Him and his wife have been out of work for 8 months, I believe it is, and but not collecting unemployment. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, they've been out of work for 8 months. Yeah, they're trying to make ends meet. So he's doing these underground fights with James Russo, who plays the promoter or the guy who organizes those fights, and he never pays him on time. Anyway, he's also making videos on YouTube, and he gets spotted by Patrick Kilpatrick, who plays John Stone, the head of the what is it? The Ultimate Extreme
or something fighting. Yeah, right? It's like he's very Dana White in this one.
Exactly.
He played kind of the villain in, if I'm not mistaken, was it? Oh, not Death Ward, the other one.
Oh, Unrivaled? Not Unrivaled. Was it?
No, it's the other one. I always mix them up. Never Surrender.
Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah. Maybe it was like almost the same character.
Yeah. No, but you might be right. I didn't even think of that. It could be. I mean, yeah, he moved up in the world.
I just rewatched those. That's it. I just rewatched Never Surrender and Death Warrior and Unrivaled. I watched Unrivaled just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. Oh no, he plays Cypher. That's right.
Yeah, he was great. He's good.
Yeah.
Some people fight for glory. Some people fight for money. It's like that's in Never Surrender. Because I've seen the trailer 1 billion times on these Lionsgate DVDs.
I know. Yeah.
I can't stop watching it. I've seen it like 15 times now. I'm not kidding. I've seen it so many times. Oh, let's watch it again. It's like, I just can't help it because it's so dumb.
Because that was the thing, right? In the 2010s, is that you were still getting movies through like Netflix, and they would have those trailers on them for these movies. And the Hector Echevarria films in particular, it was like he put out, and I guess we'll get into this a bit, like that, again, the plot's not, again, there's nothing much going on in this plot. He gets his chance to. He gets his chance to have the big fight, and how do you think it goes? Right, that's pretty much it. When he gets his big fight against the UXC champ,
Yeah, it's all done in a very low rent way too, unfortunately. Yes. Because it makes these Unrivaled, Never Surrenders, and Death Warrior look like masterpieces.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, especially Unrivaled, which I think is hilarious. I mean, I was cracking up at Rashad Evans as Christopher the Pressure Barrett. The Pressure. That's his name. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
But because you know what, a rewatch of Unrivaled instead of this thing.
I know, but that would have
been Trejo's hanging around this movie, right? Like,
yes, you got to have Danny Trejo. I mean, that's the thing I think that happens with Hector Echevarria with these films. And somebody had mentioned, I think it may have been Jacob Gustafson, who I had on, to talk about Young Rebels, the Amir Shervin film.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, and we're thinking, I wonder if it's a similar situation with Hector Echevarria, not in the sense that his movies aren't anywhere near as good as Amir Shervin's. Amir Shervin's are classics in that film genre, of movies.
I agree with that. I agree, but he had in the Unrivaled. I know it's more about Unrivaled than Cage of Glory. I just, you waste, Cage of Glory. You waste Stephen Bauer, you waste James Russo, you waste Patrick Kilpatrick, and everything's really more low rent than ever before, and you don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I'll read my notes, and then we can go back to Unrivaled.
Yeah. Well, no, so what Echevarria does in the 2010s, and this movie is sort of like this movie is kind of the last gasp of his movies. I think he had another one called No Way Out.
I always wanted to see that. There's a movie called Death Chain. I've been trying to find it. I've been looking up.
I did, or Hell's Chain is what it was called when I watched it.
I believe I
reviewed that one. Yeah, I believe I reviewed that one.
On Netflix?
I think I rented it on Netflix. I think that's how I got it.
What's that about, really?
Wait, maybe not. Oh no, I haven't seen that one because I couldn't find it. I think.
Yeah, I can't find that one.
Nobody's reviewed it. Yeah, none of us.
Maybe never got released.
Yeah.
But the great segue into what I just bought, which I looked up Hector Echevarria once I was watching Unrivaled. Like, what else does Hector have besides these goofball movies?
Yeah.
Los Bravos and Extreme Force. Right. So I went on eBay and I got Los Bravos for dirt cheap. Extreme Force I don't want to spend too much money on, but they both look hilarious.
Argentine? Is that from made in Argentina?
Los Bravos?
Oh no, it's
no,
Michael
Kesey. It
Kesey.
has Michael Kesey and Superfoot Wallace.
Michelle Kesey. Oh wow.
Stuff and I got it for $3.
Found this one. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it looked like a funny kind of maybe like Blood In, Blood Out knockoff, maybe some light punching. Extreme Force is hilarious if you watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta watch it. I just don't want to spend too much. But it looks hilarious. That's why I like in the background. I kind of like Hector Echevarria because he's trying.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the thing with. Yeah, I think that's the thing with him. So it's an interesting thing because, he makes these movies where he's the, he makes all these movies where he's like he writes, directed, and he's the lead. They're kind of like what we were talking about with Alexander Nevsky. The only difference is, with Nevsky, all of his movies, he comes in, he just kind of walks in and he's the man, right? He just, everybody, he's the greatest guy ever. He never loses, all this stuff. Whereas Echevarria does a lot of these either where he's like some sort of UFC star who gets into a tough situation, or like in this case, it's like a down on his luck guy, and he puts himself through the ringer and sort of comes out on the other side. It's a
better character to play, I think.
Yes.
Then you kind of care about Hector.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah. The only thing I was gonna say is they still feel like vanity projects. I think that's the only thing. Yeah. It's still like
Or maybe they could team up. That's what I wrote in my notes. Hector Nevsky and Hector Echevarria. It'd be called like Gunfight at Extreme Force. It's like Gunfight for Extreme Force. Something silly like that. Or like, I can't think of these punch fighting. Because I don't think Nevsky's done punch fighting.
No.
And Hector hasn't done like gunfighting kind of stuff. So because they could actually come together. Maybe Nevsky could be the bad guy. And Hector could just, he'll be the part of the UFC. Go ahead.
Well, here's the problem, right? It's like, do you remember when Van Halen fired Sammy Hagar, brought back David Lee Roth, and then fired him as well? So David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar went on tour together, but the problem was they couldn't decide who should be the headliner, so they would have to take turns. One person would lead one night, one would be the headliner the next night. That's the thing with these two, is that you can never have a situation where one of them's the bad guy because they always want to be the hero. They'd have to take turns. They'd always have to make two movies no matter what.
Yeah, kind of like Billy Blanks and what am I blanking on his name?
Al Murray?
Joe Al Murray? No, I can't think of his name. The wrestler. Back in Action. It's gone in my head.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper. Thank you. Wow, that's embarrassing. I remember Roddy Piper. How dare I?
But you have you get those brain parts. Yeah.
So what happens? They would be like that. So it would be called like Extreme Force 2. Would have Hector Echevarria and Hector Nevsky, and then Gunfight at Rio Bravo whatever 2 or 3. Right. Then they would have Echevarria. So I wish I could figure better titles, but or maybe never tap out, or like tap something similar to these punchies.
Yeah,
it's like or tapping out, something like that.
Right. No tapping out.
Here's a title for one of these fake Echevarria movies. Maybe Breaking the Cage, because that's what he talks about. Because I wrote this down.
Which happens in the movie too.
Like Breaking the Cage. There we go. That could be the movie with Hector and Alexander Nevsky. So but here are my notes. So Heath Herring plays a guy named Cage Fury.
Right. Yes.
And I thought that was hilarious because he was like on like a Fox News or News Nation kind of thing. He's like sitting there. I always love those, kind of like Rooker and Corrective Measures. Mm-hmm. They have like these screens.
Yeah.
And also, Danny Trejo talks about a guy named Little Juan. I wish he was in the movie.
Right.
And also, there's a guy named Ibach as Black Nightmare. I didn't like much of an impression, but great name. His name is Ibach in real life. See, that's why Unrivaled is a better movie, or Never Surrender, or Death Warrior, because you have these funny names like Croco and Gator and like Goofball.
No, I want to say, isn't Ibach? Is he the one who fights him at the beginning?
I think so. But all the fights aren't very well shot or well made, so I didn't really care about the fights.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, the fights are bad.
Yeah.
The fights are junky. Unrivaled, a ton of quick cuts, by the way. I mean, like, oh my goodness, except for the final fight with the pressure. And then Hector talks about putting a guy in a triangle. Mm-hmm. You remember that line?
Oh, the triangle choke. Yes.
He's like, I put the guy in a triangle, and now now I'm unemployed again. It's like, it's not as silly as these movies. That's the problem. It's too serious for its own good.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
go ahead, please.
I was gonna say he's trying this whole. The serious thing hurts this on so many levels because it's just like okay, things are going okay for Hector Echevarria. He's like learning to fight, and then Danny Trejo's gang comes in and shoots somebody in the stomach or kills his brother. Like why is he killing
Stephen
his brother?
Bauer.
Like why does his brother need to die? Like why did Stephen Bauer need to die at all?
It was so poorly written and made, and it's like why doesn't even Hector even really care?
Right.
Like, Hector doesn't even care that Stephen Bauer's dead. See, that's
right.
They goofed up on that. Like, why can Hector get revenge on Danny Trejo?
Right.
Or when Danny has a bunch of fighters, he has to fight at the end and a better shot, or at least the best they can do, and it'd be a better movie. It's just a Rocky kind of like a kid in a hospital movie. It's like they goofed up. It's a disappointment.
One of the things that both Nevsky and Hector Echevarria bring to the table is a whole bunch of B-list names.
I like that.
Yeah, and this film has no shortage. So Robert Miano plays the
nice to see him again.
Herring, right? Yeah, he plays Heath Herring.
Some Heath Herring.
Yeah, you got Heath Herring, Stephen Bauer. We just talked about Danny Trejo. We mentioned James Russo, Patrick Kilpatrick. So and of course the women are never people we recognize. So Sadie Katz, I actually know the one that plays his wife. I know her from a movie called Nipples and Palm Trees that the director had me watch. That was actually came out by the same company that made Cinema Epic that that released like Samurai Cop and those ones. But she was really great in that movie. Here she doesn't really have a lot of material. Like that movie. That movie was like kind of a legit independent flick that just had a lot going on. This movie, I mean, the guy who the scriptwriter for Nipples and Palm Trees, maybe Hector Echevarria could have consulted him about how to maybe punch this thing up a little bit.
Nice. Is that a good one? Punch it up. That's what I needed.
After the fact, because this could have used more action. But
really light on the punching. That's what I wrote down. More drama than punching.
Yeah,
and then the lazy final fight.
Oh, the lazy final fight, that hurt. And also the makeup job on his eye was just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, what was with that? That's like a horror effect. And also he always hurt his eye in Unrivaled.
Yes.
It's like, again?
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. Kind of like Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what it was. He was trying to do the Rocky thing, but like the Rocky thing, obviously being a movie that was nominated for an Oscar. I mean, a movie that really set the standard for sports films as well, right? I mean, how many sports films use the Rocky
Everyone wants to be Rocky. You know what I mean? I get it. Everyone, he probably watched Rocky when he was a kid, Hector, or maybe teenager.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is a good movie. This is very inspired to be like Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
So then he, Tap Out becomes big. He's, he's like a fighter in real life, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make my own Rocky now. I made these junky movies for Grindstone Entertainment. Let's try to do one more serious one.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was it. And it was kind of the worst one of the lot.
Yeah. Well, and I'm wondering, too, with Echevarria is like, when because again, he has these big names. So obviously these names cost some money, or he's friends with them and they're willing to do him a solid. But you notice that as the movies go on, right, like there's going to be fewer and further between, to the point that he's not. After Chavez Cage of Glory, he only has a few more. He has two more movies, and he's like making TV shows. I wonder if the money dried out. That like these movies weren't successful, and producers were just like, we're not bankrolling another one of these. Like nobody's watching the ones you put out.
Because I think Cage of Glory is not a Grindstone. The other three were. Or Lionsgate, or whatever.
Right.
So it's like,
Exactly.
This one's like an independent production. That it's hurt. You don't really. I hate that you don't care. I want to care. I do love the weatherman in the movie, Dwayne Storm Johnson.
Dwayne Storm Johnson.
It's like, familiar there. Yeah. And also, what else I have here? It's like Hector Echevarria is always funny because he's stilted. So like, I got a Diet Coke or whatever. It's like, okay, that was funny. I mean, he's always wooden. I mean, like, let's see. So, but he kind of a huge waste of Trejo, I thought. He did really nothing. It looked like a total like paycheck or did it for free.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You look like he did it for free.
Yeah,
it's like he put no effort into anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, it could have been a lot better. All he had to do was just. Oh, I love the fancy medical terms at the end when the kid's in the hospital.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like, it was. I was gonna write them down, but like I use just fancy medical terms to sound smart.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not fooled by that. It's like So the thing about Hector, though, I think this one, I guess, was obviously a little bit better than Detective Night Rogue.
Right. Well, because it was
just
shorter.
about barely.
Yeah, like, I mean, even being shorter, I don't know if you had that sense of like you're like 15 minutes into Chavez Cage of Glory, and it's like, oh man, I've got to be like a half hour in already. I'm ready to close, and it's like, no, I've still got another hour and 15 left, and then it kept going like that.
Yeah, because the pacing and writing were just really bad this time. I came back and like loving Unrivaled so much more.
Right.
Because it actually needed the acting of Keith Jardine and Rashad Evans. It's like, because Keith Jardine's acting. I don't know if you watch Unrivaled again, which you should. I really recommend it now.
Yeah.
It is his acting. Keith Jardine's acting is so funny because he's trying to be serious. Like, yeah, man, whatever, man. I'm not gonna fight, man. And it's like I can't even do it that that's stilted, but it's so funny. What's the one? I think it's Death Warrior. It's like, yeah, that's Hector, man. He's like a guy. He wouldn't sold us out. He's Hector, man. Right. Or Ringo or Crocco or names are in these movies. Keith Jardine, he needs to be in more movies, I think.
Oh yeah, the Dean of Mean.
Yeah, the Dean of Mean, because he looks mean, and it's like, he should get his own movie. I mean, I know it's 2023, but I feel like he would have gotten his own movie like 2010.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great? It would be kind of like Malibu. It's like that's a huge missed opportunity. You can make like a short movie. It could be like a punch fighter. He fights for money or glory, like Kilpatrick says in these movies, and it's like it would have been so funny. He has like a girlfriend. It would be very, very similar to Unrivaled or Death Warrior.
Yeah. Well, now obviously. Unrivaled has the distinction of being on my site, right, as the one that had the huge Kenner rant, which so the rant starts, right, of course, with
I reread it when I finished the movie the other day.
Yeah. So when I was first starting the site, I was always a big fan. I was a little bit snarkier than I should be, and I was watching a lot of times. I would get the movies on DVD and from Netflix, and I would watch with the commentary after to get a sense of what people were doing. And there's a scene in Unrivaled where the female lead gets naked, and
right, I remember
the commentary. In the commentary, the director, producer, somebody says something along the lines of like, well, she knew she had to get naked because it was important for her character development. And I wrote in my post, like I said, maybe she's dumb enough to believe that, but you can't be thinking we're that stupid that we buy that and I realized it wasn't right of me to refer to her as dumb. That wasn't like the smart thing. And so the producer, I guess, like came after me for that.
That was the producer? Because he said it was anonymous. That was actually the producer.
I think he was a producer. I think he was a producer on the show. And I was kind of going back and forth with him a bit. And then, and one of the things he was like, oh, you're just like, masturbating in your basement. And I was like,
right.
Oh, that grosses me out to think that you're thinking of me doing that. Like I was just kind of like, kind of giving it back to him. And then Kenner just goes in on him. And it was such that I kind of had to remove it and put it in its own place because it was so
I will say that in the review, I make it say
I did remove the part where I called her dumb. I said she might be that dumb. I removed that part because I was like, he's right. That wasn't nice of me to say that. But I did say though. I mean, I hope they don't think we're dumb to believe that. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about Unrivaled. I mean, now I think of this, which is it would be like Detective Night. It's all the Hector movies. Like I just rewatch. I can't watch them again. I own all of them now, or mostly. And I don't own Cage of Glory, but I own Death Warrior and the other ones. But I can never remember Never Surrender. I can never remember that title. But you can do all the Hector movies. And I just watched Lockdown too. I was telling you, I have 2010 nostalgia now for these punchers. Yeah. These tap out punch fighting movies. Oh, Circle of Pain.
Yeah.
Which I watched a couple years ago. That's a classic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's Frank. I know it's Frank Muir, but I like to call him Frank Murr. So Frank Murr kicks a guy like it's kickoff time. I mean, that's a classic. Yes. I mean, I can't help but I thought it was really good. Yeah. Circle of Pain. But well, because who's it? It's Dean Cain.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I'm sorry, what?
Bai Ling.
Oh, Bai Ling.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't remember his name now. It's hard to think of do this live. I have to do it.
I know. I'm kind of pulling up myself. Now, Circle of Pain was one of the two that I did for the.
Oh, Tony Sheena. That's
Tony Sheena.
I didn't even look it up yet. Because his acting in the trailers, because I used to watch these trailers all the time. So, Circle of Pain trailer. I'm going to watch it again and again.
Right.
It's just like, I'll see you on Saturday, Kimbo Slice. It's like.
Well, and the other thing too, this was a Daniel Zarilli film, which Daniel Zarilli, he's somebody who works with Shogun now, but he he was the one, he directed this, and I think he in the commentary, because I think I wrote it in my review. In the commentary, he was talking about how he wanted to have like the idea of like a crowd in the punch fighting scene, but like, he couldn't see what was going on in the punch fighting scenes at the end because the crowds were all in the way. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, I wish we had more crowds for that. And I was like, no, we don't need more crowds. Get out of here.
I want
more than
enough
crowds.
I thought the punching wasn't bad.
Yeah.
In Circle of Pain. I mean, like, it's like
I'm confusing it with a different one. I think I'm confusing it with a different Daniel Zerilli one. So that's my bad there. It's another one that he did.
has Sheena, Bailing, Himo Slice. That's one of the better ones, I thought. Because every 2010 trailer had those, and then you gotta love it. I see that's the problem with Cage of Glory. I kind of wish it went through the cliches.
Yeah.
Of like the punching, but I guess he already did that with Death Warrior and Never Surrender, but.
Yeah. Because one of the things so for people that don't know, with Circle of Pain and another movie called Beatdown. So at the time, when the site was kind of moving in the early late 2000s, early 2010s, I was watching a lot of these sort of tap out kind of movies.
Yeah, same. So.
Yeah, and I was having trouble connecting to them, and I thought, well, maybe I need to go back to my roots to like be able to really fully get these movies. So I decided to watch this one. Watch Circle of Pain and Beatdown. Well, only eating Doritos and Mountain Dew. I thought that would do the trick. And
story.
Yeah, I ended up kind of being in a little bit of bad shape. I said one of the things I said, I might have thought I was going to have like what competitive readers call a reversal of fortune. That I was like kind of feeling it a little bit from that.
Well, you said you had like heart palpitations and like you're sweating.
Yeah,
and it's not for excitement. It's because you have easy mac cheese and.
Yes, exactly. I was trying to see if that would work, and I think I just, for whatever reason, these punch out films, it didn't work. But I think that one of the things about them that it is an issue, and this movie definitely. This movie suffered from that, is that the fight scenes themselves are not well choreographed, and
huge problem.
Yeah,
it hurt the movie a lot. I'd say 75% why it's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the movie, right? When he's in that big final fight with Heath Herring is beating the crap out of him, and then just suddenly, snap of the finger, he flips him over, punches him a couple times, the ref calls him out, and that's it. And there's nothing like you had like in Rocky where it's like, they're sort of trading blows, and he's just taking it and everything.
You care. You don't care. I love to care.
Right. Yeah.
I was checked out, unfortunately. Checked out. Tangent of Glory.
Yeah,
that's what it's called. It's just like because I was spoiled by the other somewhat funny and decent active horror movies. I'm like, oh, this will be a good one. And we were sitting. When did it come out? You said 2013.
So this is like one of his last ones of these.
So it's been over 10 years ago this came out. I was sitting on it.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I didn't know much about it, but I'll watch it because I didn't want to pay money. I didn't want to pay like a lot. So for free, it's pretty good.
Yeah, because he has. So in 2015, he has a movie called No Way Out.
I want to see that.
Yeah, it's got Trejo, it's got Estella Warren, Patrick Kilpatrick, of course, Miano. So that might have been like kind of the last one he made with this whole crew here. And again, just like Alexander Nevsky, it seems like Echevarria is able to pull these names for whatever reason and get them to all be in his movies. But this seems to be like the last time it happens. It says the budget was $5 million. So how he was able to get $5 million? No, for the other one. For the
the other one. Okay.
What does it say? Maybe it says for this one because it was $5 million for that next one, bucks. That No Way Out one.
Does that have a release date or just kind of hanging around?
$5 million. Estimated budget was $5 million for this one as well. Yeah.
No, what it looked like it cost 25 cents.
Right, because I think he spent all of the budget on the actors.
They didn't even do anything.
Yeah,
I know James Russo's old, but I like to see him do some punching. So he doesn't really, or even Kilpatrick. See, that's the thing about Never Surrender is way better. Yeah, he's like more of the villain. You care. This one, he's, as you say, he was a script polisher.
Yeah,
he helped the best he can. He's the only good part about it.
And how much does Patrick Kilpatrick really cost? Like, not to cast any aspersions on him.
I don't know, maybe something in the 100,000s.
Right. So, I mean, how are we getting up to the $5 million with this? I mean, maybe it's an estimated budget for, but like, yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
You still got Bauer. You still got Russo, and
Yeah. I mean, so one of the IMDb reviews was college students can do better. Now,
what, for Chavez?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
Chavez.
they're right.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about college. I mean, again, that movie Nipples and Palm Trees that Sadie Katz, who's in this, was in. Again, I mean, I think the script matters. I think Hector Echevarria tried his best to put together something, and then
he tried, but just didn't gel this time around, unfortunately.
No, and I wonder what kind of polish Patrick Kilpatrick was putting on the script that
Probably just
that
his scenes where he's like a
Right.
Dana White-esque character, which what you got was okay, but like I said, I think he even knows this is kind of I did this already. Remember, I did this already and never surrender a Hector.
Right.
It's like,
well, because
I bet he said that.
He's doing Dana White, but he's also doing Vincent D'Onofrio. Almost like Vincent D'Onofrio, either as the Kingpin in the Daredevil series,
yeah,
but also
that'd be nice.
Some D'Onofrio from Criminal Intent. The way he was like delivering his lines and stuff felt very D'Onofrio.
Well, that's what's great about Kingpin when he plays. Like he gets so mad at the littlest thing. If you remember the first season, of Daredevil, like, thank you for coming to my party.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Right.
Enjoy some hors d'oeuvres.
Right.
Like, why are you so mad?
Right.
It's like I always love that. I almost that every day. Just like Connor Connolly. So,
yes. Connor, yes.
But,
yeah.
I think that's like the running joke now of these podcasts. Now it's like, well, can we mention Connor Connolly? How can we slot that in? Anything not to talk about Chavez Cage of Glory. Well, let me see if I have any more notes. I'll take a look.
As you're doing that, I mean, the thing about this is much newer than really anything that we've been reviewing. Most of the stuff we've been doing on this on here have been like, 2019 and on.
This is 2013, right?
This is 2013.
It's almost old.
Yeah. But one of the things I think that you see in this movie is you start to see that kind of sea change to getting where we end up with, yeah. And,
I think the luck ran out, I think, on this one.
Yeah.
That's just me. I think it's like, oh, you get 3 in a row. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like, oh, how about one more? Oh, what a dud. But I have one more note, which is, when you watch these fights, just like in this movie, or even Unrivaled, actually, is more of a better example. People are yelling at like Hector to do stuff. So it's like, block, defense, put your hands up. Like, he can't hear you.
Right.
And it's like, he's in the midst of fighting Keith Haring or Keith Jardines. Or I want to call him Keith Sardine because that's probably not good. But it's like he can't hear you, buddy.
Right.
It's like he's getting beat up.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that guy over there. Okay, I'll put my hands up now because that guy said it in the back. It's like I think it's like it was really noticeable in Unrivaled, but it's like, I just think that's funny. I was like, get up. It's like, I'm getting up. Hold on.
Well, I also love too that like, because we have a drone shot of what was then the Staples Center. Now I think it's called Crypto.com Center in LA. where, I think they call it the Crypt for short. But yeah,
does it have to be .com on it? It's just
I think it is, or the Crypto Center or something. I don't. It's something like
Crypto Center. That also sounds bad too. It's like Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's Kill Slaw.
Exactly right. Exactly. So, but back then it was the Staples Center because they have a drone shot of the Staples Center from above. That means they're definitely in the Staples Center when in fact they're just in their same like fight movie set, fight scene
it didn't
sets.
look good. It just didn't look good.
Yeah.
Everything looked just kind of chintzy and kind of low rent, and that's unfortunate. I mean, this could have been a heck of a. It could just be like Death Warrior, just be like Never Surrender, because at least I already kind of mentioned that already. But so unfortunately, these two were kind of slugs. I hate to say that.
They were the kind of movies that like you feel like you're enduring as opposed to watching. Yeah.
Yes. Great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, people say, I say like that. There's kids on the internet, like YouTube, like, hi guys. I said like yas. People say yas a lot.
Yas. Yeah.
It's like yas. You mean yes? No, yas. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So it's like Tiffany Melissa. That's our fake character name. People know what we're talking about. It's like, hi guys, Tiffany Melissa here. Here's my makeup tutorial. It's just like, she probably says yas too, like yas.
Oh yes, yeah. Especially like reading the comments. Oh,
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole bit. So you're picturing that Tiffany Melissa reads her own comments on YouTube and they say yas a lot.
Yeah, she would do an episode where she's like So hi everybody. I'm going to do questions from you all. You can tell me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, no. So Tiffany, Melissa, do you always buy your own makeup? Yes, I make sure I get my own makeup. Nobody provides it for me.
Yep. I can totally see that. It's like I don't go to Goodwill. I go to Walmart. Actually, I shouldn't be saying that because that sounds like I'm poor, but I'm not poor. It's like
exactly.
It's like so yeah. See, that's more entertaining than this movie. You know, a fake character that we made up.
Right. You know, it would be interesting. So the only thing is like I wonder like how AI works with that kind of thing. Like if you could like AI generate like a young woman's face and then just put our voice behind it and make a YouTube channel that's like, like because that's the only thing is like the hard part would be you'd have to hiring an actress to play the part that we're doing wouldn't work, and doing the whole drag thing would just make it more of a joke. Like the best part would be if you could like create this influencer on YouTube and dupe everybody into like views and
there's like 100% chance you could probably do that.
Yeah,
because it would now kind of makes fun of the hi guys, makeup tutorials.
Right.
And just like
one of the things I was listening to in that podcast episode where they were behind the bastards, we were talking about like the kidnapping scares. That apparently like a lot of women influencers, they will make a post about how like and generally it's Latin American people that they think are trying to kidnap them. There's like these white women will do these posts where like, hi, so yeah, I was at Michael's and I was putting my stuff in the back of my car and I could have sworn that these two, like this Latin American couple were trying to kidnap me. They were like hanging out near my thing. They had put a bottle on the hood of my car. So if you ever see the bottle on the hood of your car, it means that someone's trying to kidnap you and take you to New Mexico to traffic you. And
it's like, I can see that. And just like you see, you hear commercials for other podcasts. So I have this idea. It's called There's a Crime After Me podcast. Like it's like now from like Fox News Digital, there's a Crime After Me podcast. It's like, hi guys, it's a crime after me. It's like someone trying to kill me, but I didn't die. So it's like we'll just watch it wherever you can get your podcasts. It's like it's like Crime After Me. It's on Spotify.
Because what they were saying was that's how you get you spike. That's how they would get spikes in views. So like they said that these influencers would be like trying everything. So the makeup tutorials, the unboxing things from Amazon, or like going to the dollar store and buying a bunch of crap. They would try everything, and the only thing that was getting them the views on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that were the kidnapping stories, the fake kidnapping stories.
That's crazy. I mean, like here's my unboxing.
Right.
I mean, fine. That seems kind of interesting, I guess. Maybe when you're a kid. Like now, it's like, okay, here's what I'm getting. Here's my here's my medication. Hi guys, my medication. It's unboxing it from CVS. See, that's if older people doing it would be funny. It's like,
oh, that would be the best. That would be so. Hi everyone, I just came back from CVS and here we go. I got my water pills. So this is just the water, so I don't get a heart attack.
My diuretics, not Dianetics,
exactly.
diuretics.
Yeah. Okay, this is my Ativan, just because at my age I have a lot of, just sometimes I get intrusive thoughts and this helps me get to sleep at night. When you're getting to be your 70s kids, you'll know this, so just keep in mind,
See, that's an idea. There we go.
Yeah, right.
You keep going on that. It's funny.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of okay, here we go. This is my pain pills. So, the old back, 30 years ago, hurt my back, and it still bothers me today.
So it's a little bit of a tingle, but it's okay. It's like,
exactly.
Here's my back.
Here's the bottles of Ensure that I got, just because sometimes my blood sugar gets low and I need to get some nutrients in my system. Exactly.
Yeah, this is. See, that's what they should do. See, we're giving these people free ideas.
I know.
Old people unboxing their CVS items.
Yes, but talking like Tiffany Melissa.
So it's like an old lady, but it's like an old man. It's like, but he's still talking to Tiffany Melissa, even an old man.
Right, exactly.
So it's like the guy's like, he kind of looks like Ed Asner, and then maybe the lady kind of looks like Betty White.
Yes.
Or it's like, or somewhere, or Ruth McClanahan, something like that. So it's like,
exactly.
They all sound like Tiffany Melissa. Or Estelle Getty is probably a better example.
Oh,
so we got Estelle Getty and Ed Asner. Hey, well, that's a show and a half.
Yeah, that would be amazing. The two of them as a couple, like that would be a really great like Netflix series, right? Like a scripted Netflix series of this wacky couple that are like become influencers. It's like
that's funny. Like, there's that great bit. you can find on YouTube from the Onion like TV show or one of the Onion things. It was like The Internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, the best movie in 2005, and it's just like it's gonna be the best movie ever since The Wedding Crashers from 2005, but 2013. So it's a great bit of satire. It's like that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like so you gotta. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. Or I can send it to you later.
Yeah.
But I guess we should do our final thoughts on Chavez.
Yeah.
Chavez.
Yeah.
Chavez.
Right. Yeah. All in one name. Chavez Cage of Glory. Yeah. Which I have to say, one quick thing as we do our final thoughts. One of my favorite things in this movie is at the very beginning where he gets the guy in the triangle and the guy lifts him up and smashes him through the cage. That was like hilarious, and I thought we were going to be in for 90 minutes of hilarity.
Yes, that's a great. And then we got 90 minutes of tedium, unfortunately.
Right. Yes, and we needed more hilarity than we did tedium. And so I think they should have understood the energy that they were going for with that scene and just made the whole thing that movie. But unfortunately,
then you would have had a hit. I mean, I'd love to recommend this movie, but I just can't.
Yeah.
So,
no.
But that would be kind of my final thought there. Just like, well, it could have been. Watch the other ones that we mentioned.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is a moment in time in the mid 2000s.
Oh, great point. It is a moment in time.
Yeah, it just Hector Echevarria was making these movies in this 2010s period where he gets a bunch of B-list actors and all the same crew, Patrick Kilpatrick, Stephen Bauer, Russo, Miano, you name it, Trejo, and then also a group of UFC actors. And I think even these UFC actors being in these films, I don't think it was sanctioned by Dana White. I don't think he wanted them in these movies because they didn't give the best impression of the UFC. I mean, for example, this movie makes the UFC look like some kind of backwards, run-of-the-mill thing, right? Like, I mean, it's,
Yeah, but I think that's kind of funny.
Right.
Maybe that's like a secret vendetta from Hector. Maybe he wanted to be a UFC fighter and was turned down because it's older age from Dana White. So you get a guy that looks like Dana White, Patrick Kilpatrick, to be kind of evil.
Yeah.
But he wasn't that evil to him. So maybe See, that's also another idea that could have been explored where he's like, you're too old, Hector. Right. And it's like, I'll show him. It's like,
yeah, it could be too. But somehow, right, he gets all of these UFC fighters. He makes these movies. He makes like a spate of like 5 or 6 of these. And that's it. Yeah.
Which is, yeah. I'd like to see maybe one more. Yeah. But now that I bought Los Bravos, so I'll tell you how that is. Yeah. I see it's a very tight runtime of 77 minutes on VHS.
Yeah, which is always good, right? You need movies to be in that kind of that.
You need a tight 75 minutes. Yeah. I think this was 75 minutes with more funny parts like the beginning. You would have had a hit on your hands.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
But unfortunately, also let's not forget that Death Warrior has Nick Mancuso at his best.
Oh yes, so, you got to like
the original Stingray.
Yes,
if you want to go full circle.
Right, exactly. So, this could have used Nick Mancuso. Could have used a lot of things. All right,
that's a good point. But it had nothing to give you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, when you're ripping off Rocky, I don't think people understand that Rocky was itself such a very great film, and like a legitimately, objectively great film. That when you rip it off, it's just gonna it looks like a ripoff. It comes off as a ripoff.
Yeah, it just comes like, oh, okay, here we go again, another balanced luck, boxer goofball trying to get glory, a cage of glory.
Yeah,
but it's like
one other quick thing I want to mention about the movie is that the fight happens on Cinco de Mayo. And this movie erroneously refers to Cinco de Mayo as Mexican Independence Day when it isn't. Mexican Independence Day, I believe, is in September. Cinco de Mayo is just, it celebrates a battle where they fought off the French in Mexico. And it's actually celebrated more in America than it is in Mexico. And in fact, I read on Wikipedia that Cinco de Mayo does beer sales on Cinco de Mayo are comparable to what you get on the Super Bowl. So it's a huge drinking holiday in America. It is not like it's not Mexican Independence Day, and it's not like this thing where it's like, the fact that he wanted to have that Patrick Kilpatrick wanted to fight on Cinco de Mayo probably says more about him than it should about the Chavez character.
Yeah, that was he was really pushing for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like it's It's not Mexican Independence Day. It's not a holiday that's really celebrated to the extent in Mexico that it is here in the United States. And it is also kind of almost like a St. Patrick's Day kind of drinking holiday here.
Right. That's a good point.
It has kind of more we could say problematic elements, waiters wearing silly mustaches and, acting like, oh, look at me, I'm Mexican, this isn't offensive at all, So
well, at least Hector did have a silly mustache.
Right. No, he was just.
Was actually would have been kind of funny.
Yeah. That's one thing that was good was that he handles it very respectfully, which is good, I think. And we do get a slur. Heath Herring's character does use a bad term to describe Chavez.
Yes.
But I wanted to put that out there that, again, I don't know if the movie, it would have been nice if Hector Echevarria knew that it wasn't, which I don't know that he did. He's from Argentina. I don't think he would know either. He would probably wonder he would probably think Cinco de Mayo was Mexican Independence Day as well.
Well, that's true too. That's the problem with the movie. I mean, like, everything's kind of weak and poorly written, and that's unfortunate. But at least we have the other three, just to stay on the positive side.
Exactly.
So watch the other three: Death Warrior, Never Surrender, Unrivaled, and you'll laugh. It's silly.
Yeah.
This one I'd skip.
Yeah.
Like the night I'd skip. But I guess I can give you my plugs. I don't want to take
plug it up.
Time.
I think it's time for us to plug it up as we're wrapping up here.
ComeuppanceReviews.net is the website. Reviews of Death Warrior, another one. Not Unrivaled though. Maybe I should have reviewed that one. But the podcast is Comeuppance Reviews, the podcast where you're a collaborator, and then it's on Facebook under the website name. And Tie Action Rocks is Instagram. That's where you can find me. What did I post today? Oh, City in Panic. It's kind of a weird thriller. It's like a 80s thriller about like this serial killer guy. I won't give away what happens, but it's very weird. It's a weird movie. Good for Sunday. Because if you look at the cover, Matt, the guy kind of looks like Michael Jackson in a mask.
Right.
If you want to take a look. But yeah, then those are my plugs. On Twitter, Tie Comeuppance, or X in quotes.
Right.
Yeah. I'm still calling it Twitter, by the way. I'm not going to say X.
Yeah, same here. People know what you mean when you say Twitter. The other thing too that's interesting, I wonder, for us on Twitter is how much longer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm already starting to see like the engagements dropping off a little bit. That people are starting to fade away from Twitter. It'll be interesting to see how many people start to there's access, because it is one of the things I like about Twitter. For example, in your case, right, with your site, I can go on Twitter and and because I always like and retweet your post. Yeah. Every time I go on Twitter, your post is the first thing that pops up that day.
Same for you. So it's like it's easy to whoop heart, because I know you posted Night of the Sharks.
Exactly. So, yes. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that's going to happen with Twitter, I think, is that for us who kind of follow these things. I mean, I don't use Facebook enough to be able to keep track of what, because I know a lot of people use Facebook. I mean, I get more traction on Facebook than I do Twitter when I post movies on there. But it's as bad as Twitter is becoming, it still has that connection piece to, like, for us.
They still do that until the Muskster gets rid of that. But it's like, right. Well, I probably won't.
Yeah.
Maybe he looks at our sites.
Yeah, one of the things. So I don't know about you. I will like political posts, but I don't usually like make my own political posts. I have seen like that. Some people have gotten like I think Doug Tilley. He got his account pulled. He still posts on his podcast one. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he did, but that's the other thing too. I think is Musk is like coming for people, and so you don't want to.
Goes for Doug Tilley of all people.
I know. Because he had a couple of viral posts, I think, and that's maybe how he got.
Oh, okay. So Musk probably watches it like all the screens that George Clooney has, where he watches Sudan. Like on a drone. That's what I hear he has. He has like a special room where he watches Sudan all day. So it's like, so that's probably what Elon has. He sees, okay, who's going viral?
Exactly right. Or the other thing is he probably just had his people just put together a crummy algorithm, and you just never know when you're going to get flagged in the algorithm. I mean, the way that he does, it's a fascinating thing, and I think it's going to be sad when it does finally go to, because I think it is eventually going to drop, and when it does, I think it's going to be sad for us, because again, it is a good way for us to keep. I mean,
if it goes away, that would be unfortunate. I mean, there's a chance. I think there's actually on the table that Twitter's going to go away.
Yeah.
If I'll never go away. And it's easy to post on there now, and it's like, well, I don't get too nerdy. I don't want to take a lot of time because I have to might have to wrap up in a minute, but well, I'll make fun of Twitter or BitLie later. But it's like, but yeah, I'll say so. Well, thanks again for having me on the show.
Yeah,
I don't want to take up time. So
and still use Twitter to find Ty. And find
me
as well.
Ty Comeuppance is the name. It's still there.
Yeah.
I don't have a blue check. I'm not paying $8.
Right,
I don't like. I'm not sure I do. What, you have to use your credit card? I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
it's like,
no. Yeah, I mean, is it worth it? Like, what more are you going to get for the blue check mark than when
zero?
Right, because really that's what it is, right? Is that the post is there for like you post that you've got a movie or new review, so I know I can check that out. But also I like and repost, and somebody's like, oh hey, he's reviewing that movie. That's great, because it always like random people will like when I retweet your post, somebody random.
Oh, I saw that. I've seen that.
Like
yeah, I've seen that. So nice. I appreciate the retweets or whatever they say.
Yeah.
The kind words and likes. Yeah, but I don't want to take up your time. I just want to say thanks again.
Yeah, thank you again for coming on, Ty. Hopefully,
you're welcome. We'll do Malky on the skids.
Yeah, I think we'll do a couple Malkoviches next time, perhaps. Yeah. We're gonna try to. We slogged ourselves here. It hurt a little bit, but we got a podcast out of it, which is always the most important
thing.
That's
the best part. That really is all positive. We made something out of this.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're supposed to do American Violence and Hunting Games. American Violence has Rob Gronkowski.
Yes.
That's funny. And I showed you that screenshot. He was like,
that looks like a great one. And CT
great
and
too.
Hunting
Maybe
Games.
we should push back Malky and the Skids.
Yeah, maybe we'll. So just to let people know, we're thinking about maybe going with a Gronkowski film and another CT film.
Yeah, we should just do that. We'll do Malky and the Skids too, because those Malkys just came on Tubi, so they won't go away. We'll do maybe late. We'll shoot for late August recording.
Yeah,
or,
that all sounds perfect.
I'm getting busy in the early August, but
you know how summer schedules are. Yeah,
exactly. Thanks again. I look forward to doing Gronkowski. So I have to get going in a minute. But
thank you as well.
You're very welcome.
It was great having you on, and thank you everybody for listening. And we'll be back next time.
Back soon with Gronkowski.
That's right. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, the clock can go.